Let's dive into a story you might think you know, a timeless tale about this absolutely gorgeous garden, a single selfish act, and the cold, hard winter that just refused to leave. This is the story of the selfish giant, and it's really a powerful look at how one person's cold heart can literally freeze the world around them.
I mean, just look at this. The difference is night and day, isn't it? On one side, you have this garden just bursting with life, and on the other, that exact same garden trapped in ice. So the big question we're tackling here is pretty simple. How did a place of such incredible warmth and beauty turn into a land of endless winter? Well, the answer lies with its own.
Now, what's so cool about this story is how it's told. See, our narrator is the old giant. He's wise, he's looking back. He's telling us about the things his younger self, the giant, did. This angry, possessive guy. So this isn't just a story being told to us, it's a memory. It's a tale of some pretty deep regret and eventually change.
Okay, so to really get a feel for what was lost, we've got to go back and see the garden for what it once was. Let's start at the beginning, in a place that was, no joke, a paradise for kids.
The old giant's words just paint this perfect picture, right? A large, lovely garden with soft green grass and flowers that look like stars. It had 12 peach trees with these beautiful pink blossoms in the spring and delicious fruit in the fall. And get this, the bird song was so sweet that the kids would actually stop their games just to listen. This place was way more than just a garden. It was a sanctuary.
And here's the key. This garden wasn't just some pretty scenery to look at. It was a living, breathing part of the whole community. Every single afternoon, like clockwork, it would fill up with the sound of kids playing after school. It was their special place. But as you can probably guess, all of that was about to change.
And just like that, this perfect little world is about to be completely shattered. Because after being gone for a very long time, the owner of this paradise finally comes home. And this is where the story really takes a turn.
So the giant had been gone for 7 years, visiting his friend, some Cornish ogre. When he finally gets back to his castle, what does he find? Kids playing in his garden. And he was furious. His very first words, just booming over these poor children, were, "What are you doing here?"
And this line right here, this says it all. It's the selfish belief that kicks off this whole tragedy. My own garden is my own garden, and I will allow nobody to play in it but myself. And with that one sentence, the children just scattered, terrified.
He didn't just yell, though. Oh no, he took action, immediately. The old giant tells us he built a huge wall all the way around the garden. And just in case anyone missed the point, he put up this sign. Trespassers, people who go where they're not supposed to, will be prosecuted, punished by the law. The message couldn't have been clearer. Stay out.
You can just imagine how heartbreaking this was for the kids. Suddenly, now we have nowhere to play. The only other option was the road, which was all dusty and full of sharp stones. So all they could do was wander around the outside of these high walls, talking about the beautiful garden they couldn't get into anymore. And they all came to the same conclusion. He is a very selfish giant.
But this act of selfishness had consequences that went way beyond just a bunch of sad kids. It's like nature itself decided to step in and pass judgment on the giant's garden. So then, spring arrived, and the whole country just exploded with flowers and birds. But as you can see so clearly here, one place got left out. In the giant's garden, and only there, it was still winter. The birds didn't want to sing because there were no children, and the trees, well, they just forgot to blossom.
The only ones who were happy about this were 2 new residents, the snow and the frost. They saw their chance and basically said, spring has forgotten this garden, so now we can live here all the year round. And just like that, Snow threw a great white cloak over the grass, and Frost went around painting all the trees silver. And they didn't stay by themselves for very long. Snow and Frost invited a friend to come stay with them, the North Wind. He shows up wrapped in these heavy furs and just roars around the garden all day, having a great time blowing the chimney pots right off the castle roof. Apparently, the North Wind thought this was all so delightful that he suggested they invite another guest over, the Hail. So Hail shows up, dressed in gray, with breath like ice. He would come every day and just rattle on the castle roof for 3 hours straight, breaking most of the tiles, before running around the garden as fast as he could. So the garden is now full of these chaotic, unwelcome guests. But what about the giant? He got what he wanted, right? Solitude.
But he quickly found out he wasn't a king in a castle. He was a prisoner in a cold world he built himself. So spring never came. Neither did summer. And when autumn rolled around, it gave golden fruit to every single garden in the country, except the giant's. Autumn's reasoning was simple. He is too selfish. Just look at this contrast. There's all this vibrant life just outside his walls, and cold, empty stillness within. And this right here might be the most telling part of the whole story. The giant would sit at his window, look out at his cold white garden, and say to himself, "I cannot understand why the spring is so late in coming." He sees the result of what he did every single day, but he is completely, utterly blind to the cause.
So the great irony is the giant got exactly what he wished for, a garden all to himself. But the price was everything that made it beautiful: the warmth of spring, the birdsong, the flowers. As the old giant looks back, it was just always winter in his garden, with the north wind, the hail, the frost, and the snow dancing through the trees forever.
And that leaves us right here, at the end of part 1, with one big question. The garden is frozen because the giant's heart is frozen. So what on earth is it going to take to finally melt the ice? What does it take for a frozen heart to finally truly welcome spring?